Huh?
I said I got in a little bit early this morning. You beat me here.
I'd probably already left for my 8:30 meeting.
That's good. Okay. You good? Okay. Thanks a lot for your time this morning.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Yeah, there's a lot of attention going on right now in North Carolina with paying attention to the passing of Billy Graham. President Bush was there yesterday. The Clintons are there today, and the funeral is set for Friday, and Donald Trump is there. What are your thoughts and memories of the passing of Billy Graham?
Well, it's not as much the passing as it is the continuation that will happen of the presence of Billy Graham. Billy Graham's ministry spanned decades and spanned continents, 6 continents. No person has ever had the religious impact, I think, in my lifetime that Billy Graham has had. And his ministry will go far past his death. And I think that's why it's important that Billy Graham be honored in the United States Capitol, because individuals that make that list have a significant presence to play in America's future, not just our past. And I think Dr. Graham was unique in the fact that he was able to carry God's word in a way that crossed every physical boundary, every political boundary, and he did it with tremendous passion and foundation.
What do you think he would make of the way things are right now? I mean, I was anchoring on Saturday, and I saw the procession coming in, and it's nice to know that he reached across party lines. He would break down racial barriers. Now there's so much division in the United States. What do you think his message would be to people out there when they turn on the news or read the newspaper in today's society?
Be exactly the same that it was for decades. That there's an answer to this. It's God's word, and he was there to share with people a personal relationship that he had, and it was a personal relationship that every person in this country and every person on the globe could have. I think that's what made him so unique, that his message didn't change if he was talking to a Republican or to a Democrat. It didn't change whether he was talking to somebody in the United States or somebody on another continent. His message was consistent, and it was God's word. And he did it with a great deal of credibility. He delivered it, passion. And I think it's safe to say that Billy Graham was effective because he was a tremendous preacher. He understood, he lived God's word.
Did you ever have a chance to meet him?
I met him on several occasions. My dad was a Presbyterian minister, and they were contemporaries. Dr. Graham was born in 18, and my dad was born in 21, so I had the opportunity on occasion to be with him, and I met him once after that. But I've stayed close to Franklin and some of the family, and the ministry that has not only continued directly from Billy Graham as an evangelist, extends far outside of that specific ministry, and it extends to relief around the world through Samaritan's Purse and Franklin's efforts and others that all the kids have been involved in to spread God's word.
Will you be going tomorrow or on Thursday to the Rotunda?
I will be there tomorrow, and I will be there for the exit processional on Thursday.
Have you heard when it's arriving today? Or on tomorrow, on Wednesday? Have you got any words about that?
I think it's 11 o'clock. I think it's 11 o'clock today, and I think it's an 11 o'clock departure tomorrow.
Okay. 2 last questions, and answer these how you like. I told Ben this topic would be just about Billy Graham, and I want it to be, but I have managers coming to me from all different angles. All that's going on around the attention after Parkland and the NRA right now, is there anything you'd like to say to the viewers at home in North Carolina that would like to know where you stand on things going forward on assault rifles or security in school in general?
Well, just like we've talked about Reverend Graham and the consistency that he showed throughout his evangelical career, where I personally go on guns will be consistent with where I've been in the past. I don't think that you change your foundational views because of one additional public event. And that's the commitment that I've made to protect people's rights in this country. I can't bend the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. But I'm open to everything being on the table, whether that's a discussion on age, whether it's a discussion on how we check thoroughly somebody's background. I think when you have a tragedy like this, you should look at putting everything on the table that does not infringe on anybody's constitutional rights. And I think many times efforts that could have been successful have been derailed by somebody's appetite to make it a political issue versus to achieve a bipartisan policy objective. And that's to make sure that we make the next one tougher. I'm hopeful that's where the lane in the road that we'll stay in this time. I'm not assured by any stretch of the imagination with what I've heard that there aren't some that want to derail this and make it about the issue and to have that in November versus to have a solution where many parents can sit at home and know that their kids are a little bit safer. They're never ultimately going to be totally safe, but a little bit safer than they were before.
I don't really have an opinion myself, but do you think assault rifles should be banned?
Well, again, I think that you begin to get into the constitutional rights that individuals have. I'm more than willing to lay bump stocks on the table. It's difficult for me to see when two items perform the same and one's designed a little bit differently and it happens to resemble something that armies carry. It should be treated differently than the deer rifle that has the same capacity to it, but just looks different. And I think that the American people are looking for us to actually have a positive impact through legislation and not one that becomes derailed. And I think to bring the Second Amendment into this in too big a way would be to assure ourselves that we'd make no progress. And I think there are things that we can clean up that would make a parent a little more comfortable about their child being in school.
The lieutenant governor in Georgia came out yesterday swinging against Delta. They were very quick to, did you hear about that?
No.
They said they're taking away all the discounts for NRA members flying Delta Airlines, but then the governor was saying things about tax benefits and jet fuel, and he's like, look, if you're going to come after conservatives, you can't do that. You need to have conversations and discussions on the table going forward, and I think that I think it's important, like you were saying, to have.
I think what we're experiencing not only on this issue but on other issues over the past 12 months is we're seeing the impact that Russia had at trying to create societal chaos in the 2016 election in the United States, where they used the social media platforms to explore differences in particular issues and areas, ideological areas in America, and pitting one group on one side of an issue against another group on the other side. And quite honestly, that seeded itself in American society. It's much easier today for that to explode where you've got issues like this, that you've got a spark and it turns into an explosion. It's something that the American people have to be conscious of not allowing to get out of hand. But I will say this, it's also an important reminder to the media that they can't be the fuel for additional explosions off of issues, that this is truly something that the American people have to digest and debate. And at the end of the day, more of the responsibilities for this issue are going to lie in the states than they are in the federal government. I'm only focused about the things that we can do here.
Lastly, and I'll let you go, you mentioned the Russia involvement in the election. You're head of the Intelligence Committee. How much are they really involved? How much were they involved in what happened? I think the American people truly don't know the answer to that.
Well, that's the reason we have congressional investigations, and that's one of the missions of our investigation, is to share in great detail with the American people not only what they did, how they did it, and to back it up with the facts. We're in that process, I hope, in the next 30 days to have the election piece out. But our investigation looks much further than that. It looks at what the last administration knew and what when they knew it, what they did, what they didn't do. I think the American people deserve to know what happened and why we were behind the 8 ball come November 16. They deserve to hear about November 18 and to make sure that we've changed some things to assure that no infiltration of our system can be accomplished. I think it's important that we explore exactly how social media platforms were used and how vulnerable that makes American society, both from an election standpoint and from an economic standpoint, from a personal privacy issue. People are going to have to rethink how freely they put things up, how freely they connect with other individuals, because What we did learn was that the Russian involvement was extensive, that most of the engagement by the Russians was with false personas, meaning you didn't know who, in fact, you were communicating with. You didn't know who was the initiator of a rally. You just knew when you got there that the other side of the issue was there as well. And I think it's important that we realize that Russia has done it here. They've done it around the world. They're going to continue to do it. And this is just a warning shot to us that we need to figure out how to use social media platforms effectively and securely in the future. And that's not something that I think we have done a good job of preparing the American people for.
Senator Burr, I appreciate your time this morning.
You're welcome. Thanks. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice office here, never been to the building.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna cover the.
Senator, would you mind hiding that wire that's?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, thank you.
Gonna cover the laying in honor tomorrow and Thursday, so head back to Charlotte.
Do you guys get inside the rotunda tomorrow or just outside?
I think that we got inside.
Okay. I didn't know if there was media inside. Ben, you might know better than I do.
For the ceremony, I think it's only family and members.
I'm sure it's video fed.
Yeah, there's different times, but you've been busy, I guess, up here the past couple of weeks. Things have been